Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Coders Arcade. In this video, we are going to learn how to read Excel files with the help of Python. So for that, we will be using the Openpyxl module or the package. Before starting the video, I would like to request you people to please like and share our videos with your friends and family. And also subscribe to our channel Coders Arcade and press the bell icon so that you receive notifications about our latest updates. So let's get started. So as I said, today's topic is reading Excel files with the help of Python. So for that, you can use either Microsoft Excel or you can use any other software applications which support the file extensions, which is xlsx. And there are many other software applications like WPS Office and many more. And in my case, I will be using the WPS Office software. So let's get started. Here, as you can see on my screen, this is the Excel tutorial file, basic demo file, which I have created for you all. Let me open it. And in this, I have 4 sheets, as you can see here: info, product, student, and the final last sheet is empty, which is sheet 4. So in the first sheet, let me just zoom it for you. You can see I have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then I have 3 columns, 1, 2 and 3. And I have some dummy values which are, as you can see here, Tanmay, Chandan, Ujjwal, and these are the address: Whitefield, Mysore Road, Guntur, and etc. Then I have some dummy numbers 12, 13 and 14 in the first sheet. And in the second sheet, I have again some dummy values which are package, quantity, price. Then I have the name of some fruits which are orange, apple, kiwi. Then the quantity in kgs, and then I have the price. I have taken some normal values so that I can show you how to read these values with the help of Openpyxl. Then in the third sheet, I have some data which is name and roll number. Here I have some dummy names, and then I have the roll numbers, as you can see here. And final sheet, as I showed you, is empty. And let me also tell you something. One box is known as the cell, and it is represented as the column number and the row number. So it is a column and one row. So this box will be named A1. So now let us go on to our PyCharm so that I can show you how to read this Excel files. So I have my PyCharm opened, as you can see here. So first of all, let me just create a Python file. So before that, let me create a directory. Let the name of the directory be, say, Excel tutorial. So now you can see this directory has been created, and inside it, let me create my first Python file. So it will be something like this, say read Excel. Okay, this is our Python file. Now to read the Excel files, first let me copy the Excel file here. I will go back to my desktop, and here I will just copy this, and then I will paste it here in the same directory. So you can see it's asking me the permission. So okay, I will copy it, and you can see this Excel tutorial.xlsx has been copied here. So to read this Excel files, I have to install a module known as the Openpyxl, which is a module for reading and writing Excel files. In this video, we will be focusing on reading Excel files. I will be showing you how to read the data from this Excel files. For that, let me just install that module. For this, I will go to my terminal, and here I will use the command pip install Openpyxl and press enter. So you can see it's installing the packages and it's done. So let me just minimize this terminal, and now I can import this package by using the import statement. So when I write open, you can see it gives me the suggestion for this Openpyxl module. So I'll press enter, and then we have to create a variable so that we can load our Excel file. So for that, I will be taking our variable to be, say, workbook is equal to, then we have to call the Openpyxl module, and to use any methods inside this module, what we have to do is we have to use the dot operator, and as soon as I press dot, you can see it gives me all this methods which are inside this module. So I will use this load workbook method, and then inside double quotes I will give the name of my Excel file. As you can see here, the name is Excel tutorial. So I will write Excel, and it automatically tells me this suggestion. You can see here. So with this, the Excel file has been loaded here. So I'll press enter, and now side by side I have also opened the Excel file. I will show you. This is the Excel file, and then if you need to print the sheets here, so I have 4 sheets here, as you can see here: info, product, student, and sheet 4. So if you need to print the name of the sheets, what we can do is in PyCharm, let me minimize this project window for now so that I can show you the whole code window. I will take a variable, say sheets is equal to, then I will call my workbook, and if I use the dot operator, I get the option sheet names. So now if I print my variable sheets, and if I run this program, you will see that I will have the names of my sheets displayed on the console. So I will right click in the same window and run this Excel file, and now you can see that these are the names of the sheets of my Excel file, which are info, product, student, and sheet 4. So let me just show you to cross verify. You can see the first sheet name is info, then I have the second sheet which is product, then the third sheet name is student, and finally the sheet 4 I have left it as it is blank, and the name is sheet 4, as you can see here. So this is how you can display the sheet names. And let me again go to my PyCharm and minimize this console. Now suppose you want to print the title of the sheet which is active on your Excel file. So for that, what we need to do is, let me just check my Excel file. Here it is, and suppose I have this first sheet, the name of which is info, active in my Excel file. So if I want to print this title, what I need to do is I will go to my PyCharm again, and here I will print workbook dot active dot title. So if I run this now, you will find that the active worksheet title will be displayed on the console. So let me run it. So as you can see here, the name displayed here is info. So let me check it here, and you can see here the active worksheet is this info one. So it is working perfectly. So let me again go to my PyCharm and let me minimize this, and I hope you have understood this. So let me just comment these two parts out so that it doesn't create confusion when I write my next lines of code. So now let me take a variable, say sheet 1 is equal to, then here I have to use the name of my sheet. Let me just show you. The name is info here. So what I will do is I will call my workbook, and then inside square brackets I have to give the name of my sheet, which is info. And now suppose I have to store the value of any cell. Let me say this name Tanmay here. So this cell is A2, and if I want to print this value, what I will do is I will go to my PyCharm again, and here let me take a variable, say value is equal to, then I have to call the sheet1 variable, and then inside the square brackets I will give the name of that particular cell, which is A2, and then I will use the dot operator, and finally I have to write value. So now with this line of code, what I have done is I have stored the value of the A2 cell in this variable value. So let me check this value again. The value here is Tanmay. So let me see if I can print this value and get the correct output or not. So again I will be going to my PyCharm, and finally if I print this value variable and then if I run my program, let me see if I get the correct output. Yes, as you can see here, I'm getting the value Tanmay, which is there in this sheet 1 in the A2 cell. As you can see here, it is Tanmay. So if I then change the cell number, then I will be getting different values. Suppose say I want this value Chandan, then it is in the A3 cell. So for that I just have to change this number, which is 3. So if I run it now, I will get Chandan displayed here, as you can see here. And in the same way, if I change it to A4 and if I run it now, I will get Ujjwal, which is the final value. As you can see here, I am getting the correct output. So let me just check it. You can see the name is Ujjwal. So it is working perfectly. So now this was a simple way to store all the things in the variables and then get the value and print it directly. But now I will show you 3 separate methods with the help of which you can read the values of a cell inside an Excel sheet. So for that I will just do one thing. I will comment this out so that it does not create confusion, and then I will go to my next line, and let us start with the method 1. So in the method 1, what we can do is we can call our workbook, and then inside the square brackets we can write the name of the sheet, which is say info, which was the name of my first sheet, and then in another square bracket let me provide the suppose cell number or the name of the cell precisely. So it will be say suppose A3, and then what I have to do is I have to use the dot operator, and finally I have to write value. So if we want to print this, we can do it by using the print statement. And now if I run it, you will find that in my info sheet the value of the cell A3 will be printed. So let's just run it and check. I'm running it. So you can see Chandan has been printed. Let us check if in the info sheet the A3 value is Chandan or not. So I'm going to my Excel file again, and here you can see this is the A3 cell, and here the value is Chandan. Suppose we want to do it for any other cells. Suppose I want to check this address B2. So let me just do it. Here I will minimize this thing, and suppose here I will give it to B2, and now if I run it, I'm getting the address. As you can see here, it is Whitefield. So let us check. Yes, it is Whitefield. It's working perfectly. So this was the method 1 as I showed you here. So what you have to do is you have to write the name of your variable where you have initialized your workbook. Then you have to use the name of the sheet in quotes inside square brackets, and then you have to use the name of the cell, and finally you have to use the dot operator, and then you have to give the value. Then if you print it, you will get the output, or you can read the value from the Excel file. Then let us move on to method 2. In this case, what we can do is we can call this sheet1 variable. So I will do it, sheet1 variable. Then we can use the dot operator, and there is a method inside this Openpyxl which is cell. So then inside parenthesis I have to give the row and column numbers. So let me just check one thing inside the Excel file. So this is my first sheet, and here suppose I want to read this number which is 14. So for that, this is in the C4 cell number. So if we want to check the row and column, the row number will be 4 and the column number will be 1, 2, and this is 3. I will tell you once again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the row number 4 and the column number will be 1, 2 and 3. So 4 and 3. So let's go to our PyCharm again, and here we can give 4, comma, and then 3. Then again we have to use the dot operator, and finally we have to use value. So now if I directly print it, and if I run this, you can see I am getting 14. So it is working perfectly. As you can see in the Excel file, this is the number 14. So it's reading it properly and we are getting the answer. So let me just brief the method 2 once again. So what we did was we called our sheet1 variable as we have initialized here, sheet1, and then we used the method which is cell after the dot operator. Then inside the parenthesis we use the row and column number, and then after that we use the dot operator, and finally we wrote value. Then when we are printing this, we are getting the answer. Let me show it once again. So you can see we are getting the answer 14 here. So it is working properly. So let us move on to the method 3. So in method 3, let me just create another variable. Suppose sheet2 equal to workbook, and here I will be using the second sheet. Let me show you. This is the second sheet which is product, and here I have some decimal values. Let us see if we can read these values or not. So what I will do is I will create this variable sheet2 equal to workbook, and then inside square brackets I will use the name which is product. So with this we have created our sheet2 variable. Now in the method 3, to read these values we can call the sheet2, then we can use the dot operator, then we can use the cell method, and inside the parenthesis we can directly give the row and column numbers. Let me show you how to do it. For that we will write row is equal to, let me just go to my Excel file again, and here suppose this is the value which we want to read, 360.88. So the roll number will be 4 and the column number will be 3. So here the row number was 4 and the column number will be 3. Then dot value, and now if I run this, you can see that I am getting the price or the value which is 360.88. Let us take once again to confirm. Yes, it is the value 360.88. So in the method 3, let me just give a brief overview again. So in this method we are calling the sheet2 variable, then we are using the cell method, and then inside parenthesis we are giving the exact row and the column numbers with the row equal to and the column equal to parameters. And then we are using the dot operator, and finally we are writing value, and then when you print this, I will show you once again, we get the values. So this is how you can read this value. So I have showed you all the three methods as you can see here. Now suppose you want to print the number of rows and the number of columns in any sheet in your Excel file. So for that, what you need to do is you can create a variable, say rows is equal to, so let me take the sheet 1 only because that is my earlier variable, sheet 1 dot, and here we have to use max underscore row. And for columns, I'm creating another variable, so sheet 1 dot max underscore column. And now if we print this rows and the columns, and now if I run this program, you can see that we will be getting the number of rows and number of columns in this sheet 1 or our first sheet, which is this info sheet. Let me just run this and show it to you. I'm running it, and you can see it displays the number of rows and the number of columns. To be precise, what we can do is we can use a formatted string, and then the number of rows is comma rows. This will be better, and let me just do it for the other one also, columns, and here let me change it to columns. Okay, now let me run this. Before that, let me give 2 spaces here so that it looks good, and then now let me run it. So here you can see it looks better. The number of rows is 4 and the number of columns is 3. And let me just take it once again. So here you can see in the info sheet, the number of rows is 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the number of columns is 1, 2 and 3. So it is working perfectly. And now suppose if we want to read the values in all the rows and columns, what we have to do is we have to use for loops. So for the rows, we have to use one for loop so that we can read the rows, and for the columns we have to use another for loop so that we can read the columns. So it will be a nested for loop. So let me just show it to you. So let me minimize this thing, and here, so let me start writing the for loop. For, let me take the loop variable to be say a in, so I have to take the range. As we saw that the row numbers start from 1 to 4, so we can take 1, then comma, and here this is the number of rows and this is the number of columns. So what I will do is I will take rows, and here I have to tell you something very important. You should always remember that when we use the range function, it starts from this lower index and then it goes on to the index less than this value. So the rows will be till 4 and this range will go up till 3. But we want to read all the numbers from 1 till the number of rows. So for that, what we need to do is we have to give +1, then the colon, and let me write the inner for loop for b in range. So it will be 1, comma, then it will be columns +1 so that we can read all the columns. And here what I will do is I will print my sheet 1 dot, I will use the cell method, and then I will use my loop variables for the row and the column numbers. So it will be A, comma, B. And then after this, inside parenthesis, I will give the dot operator. Then I will use my value method. So this is done. This is a nested for loop. This is the outer for loop, and this is the inner for loop. And then inside this, we have used the print statement so that we can print the values of all the cells in our sheet 1. Our sheet 1 is this sheet, which is info, and here we have this values: name, Tanmay, Chandan, Ujjwal, address, Whitefield, Mysore Road, Guntur, and all these things. So now let us check if it is working properly or not. I will go to my PyCharm and then let me run this file. I'm running it. So here you can see it is displaying all the values. So name, then address, then number, and this is for the first column, Tanmay, second column Whitefield, then the number was 12. As you can see here, Tanmay, Whitefield, 12. And then we are getting for the second row, which is Chandan, then Mysore Road, the address, and the number was 13. And then for the third row, Ujjwal, then Guntur, then the number 14. So this is how we can use a for loop and read the values from the Excel file. So with this, we have come to the end of this tutorial. In this tutorial, I have showed you how you can use the Openpyxl module and read data from Excel files. And you need to remember that the extension should be xlsx, as you can see here. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. In my next video, I will show you how to write data into a Excel file. Stay tuned and see you in our next video.